All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a composer who dropped a track so legendary, it's been a massive global hit for like almost 300 years. This is the story of the original superstar composer.
But for real, have you ever been at a concert or maybe even watching a movie and a piece of music starts playing that is just so powerful, so huge, that everybody around you just instinctively gets to their feet? You totally know this one. Of course, it's the Hallelujah chorus from Handel's Messiah. This thing was basically the original viral hit. We're talking about a track that made people stand up and pay attention way before TikTok or YouTube were even a thing.
So, how does a guy become a legend like that? Well, like any great hero's journey, it all starts with an origin story. And his first challenge? It was a big one.
So, meet our main character, George Frideric Handel. He was born back in 1685 in Germany, and he was a straight-up musical genius, like a prodigy. But here's his first boss battle, his own dad. His father was absolutely determined that he was going to become a lawyer and did not want him messing around with music. I mean, talk about a tough first level, right?
But Handel wasn't just going to quit. No way. He knew he had to get out there, grind for that experience and level up his skills to become the master he was supposed to be.
And just look at his career path. It's like a video game progression. He starts in Germany, which is basically the tutorial zone where you learn the controls. Then he heads to Italy. That's the Pro League, to train with the best. And then finally, in 1712, he gets to London. This is it, the world stage.
And you know what? He absolutely crushed it. In London, Handel became the undisputed king of Italian opera. You gotta understand, operas back then were like the summer blockbuster movies of their day. We're talking huge productions, epic stories. And Handel, he was the biggest director in the game.
But this is where the story gets really interesting. Because even for superstars, trends change. The audience in London started getting a little bored with the same old opera format. The game was changing, and Handel knew he had to make a move. He had to pivot.
So what does he do? He basically creates a whole new style for his audience. Think about it like this. Opera was the big budget movie, right? With the crazy sets, costumes, the whole shebang. His new thing, the oratorio, was more like a concept album or an epic live concert experience. You get all the musical drama, but it's focused purely on telling the story through the sound. And he used familiar stories from the Bible that everyone knew.
In this move, it was absolute genius. Oratorios were way cheaper to put on, and because they used religious stories that everybody grew up with, they connected with a much bigger audience. He basically figured out how to change the algorithm to get more views.
And this massive pivot is what led to the creation of his ultimate masterpiece. This is the final product of all that leveling up and innovation, the oratorio called Messiah.
Okay, prepare for your mind to be blown. This epic 2.5-hour masterpiece of music, Handel wrote the entire thing in about 3 weeks. That is an absolutely insane burst of creative energy. It's still hard to even wrap your head around it.
So what's it even about? Well, Messiah is this huge musical story. It's built like a 3-act play, and it tells the story of Jesus' life right from the Bible. It covers the prophecy of his coming, his life on earth, and then the whole story of redemption.
So what makes his music just so good? Okay, let's check out his character stats, his superpowers. First, he writes melodies you just can't forget. Total earworms, super catchy hooks. He creates these huge emotional swings, taking you from super hype moments to really quiet, chill ones. He uses the choir to create these epic squad moments where everyone comes together. And his special move? He blended the best of German, Italian, and English music all into one new amazing style.
And the power of his music is just legendary. The Hallelujah chorus is so overwhelming, so majestic, that a tradition started where audiences stand up for it. The story goes that King George II stood up the very first time he heard it, and hey, if the king stands, everybody stands. And that tradition, it's still a thing today.
But Handel's story doesn't quite end there. His final act is what really sealed the deal on his legacy.
Later in his life, Handel actually went blind, but, and this is incredible, that didn't stop him. He kept composing and performing, and when he died, he was given one of the highest honors you could get. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, right alongside kings, queens, and other national heroes. He had truly, completely conquered the world stage. So here's the bottom line. If you only remember one thing, make it this sentence right here. Handel wasn't just some great composer. He was a brilliant innovator who wasn't scared to change the whole game just to connect with his audience and keep his music powerful.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. In a world where trends come and go in like a week, what's the secret sauce? What actually gives a piece of art, like Handel's Messiah, the power to stick around and still feel absolutely epic 3 centuries later?